Welcome back, sports fans, to the new season of the Goal Line and a new season of the NFL. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I am pumped for this year in the NFL. It all kicks off tonight with a rematch of Super Bowl 50. Except this time, Denver is coming to the table with a far less proven quarterback. Not to mention, I'm willing to bet Cam Newton is coming back with a huge chip on his shoulder. Now, if you're as lucky as I am, you have a big problem with this. I have no doubt Carolina is going to win the game, but I'm not sure whether or not I should start Cam in my fantasy league. I've got Derek Carr slotted in to take on the worst rated defense in New Orleans, but it's a really hard decision to leave the reigning league MVP on my bench. But in fantasy, I have always believed you gotta play the matchups. So this week, I'm saying, go Oakland. Now, again, if you're as lucky as I am, you were able to draft rookie Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I'm sure we all remember the amazing season DeMarco Murray had in Dallas a couple of years ago, and then the completely underwhelming one he had in Philly. The difference? His offensive line. Now, I am more than confident to say that Ezekiel Elliott is a far better athlete than DeMarco Murray. And we got a glimpse of that in the preseason when Elliott absolutely trucked Cam Chancellor. So I'm in high hopes that he is going to have an absolute breakout rookie season. Not to mention, Dallas lost starting quarterback Tony Romo again to injury. You can all but guarantee that Dallas is going to go with a heavy run game this season. Elliott should be a guaranteed RB1 all season if he can stay healthy. Now, on the flip side of that, consistent WR1 Dez Bryant has definitely lost some value. With a recent signing of Mark Sanchez, it's unsure whether Sanchez or rookie Dak Prescott is going to get the start behind the center. Personally, I say you give it to the rookie to start the season and see what he can do. If he can handle the pressure, he could be looking at a huge breakout year, and I believe Dallas could be poised to make that elusive postseason. They have an exciting matchup to start the season against division rival New York Giants on Sunday, so make sure to keep track of that game. Now, Tony Romo isn't the only one to be knocked out before he stepped on the field this year. Teddy Bridgewater of the Minnesota Vikings suffered a season-ending ACL injury in practice. I'm talking about practice! And that is a tough way to lose a starting QB. This, of course, led to the Vikings getting absolutely fleeced for 2 picks next year, one being a first-rounder, for acquiring Sam Bradford from the Eagles. Now, I know they were in trouble for a QB, but 2 picks in next year's draft for Sam Bradford, who has done nothing in his time in the NFL to prove that he can be the guy. Personally, I think Dallas had the much better move by signing Mark Sanchez for virtually nothing. Not to mention that when you have Adrian Peterson in the backfield and are consistently a run-first offense, I really don't think you need to spend big to get a mediocre QB whose main job is going to be handing the ball off. Now, speaking of running backs, check your waiver wire, folks, and if Spencer Ware or Terrence West are available, pick them up! Forsett was released in Baltimore, and Jamal Charles is still recovering from an ACL injury. Those are 2 solid waiver wire pickups to hold on to and could turn into high-value trade chips later in the season. Now, let's move on to the good. I'm going to get really bold here and make my pick for the Super Bowl this year. I think the Arizona Cardinals will defeat the Houston Texans. Houston spent big money to acquire quarterback Brock Osweiler, and I think he's ready to prove himself. Add in all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins and reliable running back Lamar Miller, and I think they come to the table with a very balanced and deadly offense. Not to mention the other side of the ball, multiple DOI winner J.J. Watt, and this team looks solid. Not to mention, if they make it, they get home field advantage for the biggest game of the year. But on to the Cards. Both Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald are quickly reaching the endpoints of their respective careers. And with that in mind, I think they will both once again have outstanding seasons. Also, don't expect any slumping from sophomore running back David Johnson, who made his mark in a big way last season. And we can't leave out the Cardinals' extremely reliable secondary, led by Patrick Peterson and Tyrann the Honey Badger Matthew. This is a team that has everything to gain and nothing to lose with a trip to the big game this year. And if they don't make it, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But on that note, here is your just the worst play of the week.
Julius has it teed up. And an opportunity for a return for Kent State. And Julius, the man doing the covering downfield. Oh, that's a kicker's dream right there. As he throws a return man down. And gets an opportunity to celebrate.
And this crowd is going crazy because the kicker made the play.
That's right. And I'm a football player. That's right.
He'll be a legend forever.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Joey Julius. Penn State's 260-pound kicker, absolutely trucking that poor kick returner for Kent State. Now, I know teams don't typically target a kicker of his size, and you probably won't see him in the NFL. But if you ask me, that is one way to make sure no one scores on a kick return, because that guy returning the ball just got knocked back to grade school. Anyway, sports fans, it's good to be back, and be sure to keep checking in over the course of the season, as I'll be complaining and cheering about my fantasy league, and maybe I can help yours too. Thanks for watching. You just crossed the goal line.